Hello and welcome back to my channel. I am Madam Chiomzi and hope you all have been having a fantastic day. Please, if you've not subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe. Thank you so much for your support. Today I'm going to talk about marriage. This week I've watched three videos that had to do with marriage. The first one was Tonto Dike's testimony about how she reconciled with her husband, and the second one I did watch was Obodo Oyinbo Tv. Then I watched a video, was a short clip. It was Blessing CEO talking about how Tonto Dike's testimony did affect her, or got her thinking about her own situation. What I'm going to speak about today about marriage, I thank God. I just want to say I really thank God for Tonto Dike's life. One of the evidences of someone, or the evidence of having an encounter with God, is a changed life, and I can see that she's really encountered God. Some people might not believe. I do believe her that she has encountered Christ. And someone encountering Christ does not mean they don't make mistakes or they cannot sleep. We all fall. And we fall, you rise up. The most important thing, you keep moving. The first thing I'm going to say is that marriage is about companionship. I think people don't understand what marriage is all about. Marriage is very, very complex. It's very, very complex. Funny enough, this last weekend, a classmate of my son, the mom, we were hanging out together. We took the kids out, and she did say something. She said that what she discovered that that what they do in Nigeria here, that was her statement, is not marriage. And to an extent, I do believe her. Number one, marriage is companionship. So when Obodo Oyinbo, I'll call her B, was talking about her story, she did mention. She said her husband is kind, her husband is a gentleman. She didn't have, the regular thing, domestic violence or a monster in the house. But that she did talk about issues like being present in a marriage. I know for some people, they'll be like, what do you mean by being present? He's not present physically and emotionally. What does that mean? That's a big issue in marriage, and that's what I really want to talk about, because it says that marriage, as I said, is for companionship. If you're not available for your partner, not just physically available, that you're around. Some people are around with their partner, they stayed with their partner, live in the same house, so they're physically available, but they're not emotionally present. They're not emotionally available. So what does it mean by someone not being emotionally available for their partner? You don't get your partner. You don't understand. You don't get where they are. When someone is sad, you don't know when they are. You don't understand. You don't get their vibes. You don't understand what they are going through. When you're with someone that it's not emotionally available in a marriage, you don't feel like you're being seen. You're being heard. You can be going through something, and like sometimes when you're telling somebody, oh, I'm going through this, and it's very serious to you, the person tries to minimize it. These are ways that your partner you can be in a marriage and you'll be lonely, that person does not get you. That person does not understand you. You cannot, even when you're vulnerable to that person, you're trying to you're trying to say, okay, this is what I'm going through. This person does not understand, or they try to minimize this. Oh, you're too this, or you're too that. You worry about things. You do this. That's the way somebody can be in a marriage and become lonely. So what happens that when you are in a marriage with someone that's not emotional availability, with time you begin to shut down towards that person. People are vulnerable to people that they feel they can speak to, and that person listens, actively listen. Not you're there, you're looking at the person, but you're not getting what the person is saying, or you're not trying to understand what the person is saying. People can become lonely in a marriage, and it can be very frustrating. And what people have to understand that women need women need attention, and also men. So even though you might think that your partner, let's say women most times are very in tune with their emotion. For men, sometimes it might be difficult. Sometimes you need to. Sometimes men don't open up emotionally, and if you're a married man, you need to learn that. Even for when you are going through something, you need to learn how to open up to your partner, because if you don't open up to your partner, what it does that you might start. You might not be there presently with that person. You're in your own head, and it starts affecting your relationship. I don't know if I'm making sense. You might be going through something, and because you're not opening up to that person so that the person can also be supporting you in what you're going through, it can make you it can cause a distance in relationship. So why I'm doing this video is that I think people don't understand that this that's been not been present in a marriage, emotionally especially, can lead to a separation or a divorce. Because what happens is that you start having cracks. It's just like when you're driving on the road, you see the road has a crack. If they don't come and do maintenance to repair that road, it becomes a pothole. After that, it becomes a gully. So it gets to a point where there's no other thing but to just destroy it. Destroy it, as or rather to rebuild the road all over again. You get me? That's what I'm trying to say. So the same way with marriage, you're speaking to someone, most times you find a wall or someone is just blocked, there's a blockade that the person is not opening up, and you're in a relationship with them, you have to live. It's a different thing with someone they don't have a relationship with. But when you have a relationship with someone, you want them to open up emotionally, and you want to be able to open up emotionally to them. But when you're opening up to somebody emotionally, and all you get is a blockade, and they don't really understand you become very lonely. It's frustrating, and it's hurtful that you now begin to withdraw from that person, because you're no longer safe with that person emotionally, not physically, emotionally, to be able to be vulnerable. Because most people, nobody is going to be vulnerable to someone that does not understand what they're going through, or is not trying to listen to understand what they're going through. So, and that's when people become lonely in marriages. So I do get what she's saying. Some people might not get it. I do understand what she's saying. So marriage, as I said, is for companionship. That's the primary purpose of marriage. If we look at the Bible, it's for companionship. So how can I have a companion that does not understand me? Or we're not going the same direction. If I'm talking A, they're talking B. Or if they're talking A, I'm talking B. It's not going to work long term. And that's the truth of the matter. So your partner should be like, okay, if the partner brings up this, okay, this is what I'm looking at, baby. Or it should, even if you've not told that person, it should like, oh yes, baby, I agree with this, to an extent. You might not agree on everything. So, but you people will come to a resolution. You understand? So that's what marriage is about. But when you're constantly having friction of this person saying I want this person saying I want that one, it's not going to work. You people have to be singing from the same hymn book. So that's the one of the most important thing in marriage too, is your visions have to align. Outside of your values aligning, your visions have to align. I would think that probably they have the same values, but their visions don't align. So, and people will say, oh, why didn't she leave? It's common. I've seen it. People most times, this married 30 years, people want to divorce, and I think most times, especially for the women, some stay because of their kids. When their kids are now gone to university and they just be like, no, I can't continue like this. The reason why I'm even staying, they are gone. The kids are gone. And you see that stage when your kids become independent. That's your marriage. If both of you have not been working on your marriage, getting closer, that time you don't have anything that covers, or rather that fills that gap or void. So it's open, and then you start seeing for yourself as in we're truly strangers. Because now you don't have a reason to talk to each other. You don't have to say, oh, this person needs this person. You don't have any reason to, because some people actually just talk to their partners because of the children and not. If it's like you cannot stay with your partner and you guys have like conversations, laugh outside of any other thing. Just you're laughing at things and talking about things and experiences. Just you people outside of house functioning and all those, that's a red flag. Your partner should be your friend. That's the truth. And you should be vulnerable. Bible says that the two of them, they were naked and they were not ashamed. Naked means vulnerability, not naked as in just physically. Naked emotionally. I cannot be ashamed when my husband is. So two of you should be able to be vulnerable in the presence of your partner. If you start feeling that if I say this, they're going to judge me, then you need to work on that. You need to speak to that person. So you should be, that's also being present emotionally, that you can express yourself without that person being judgmental, or you don't feel being judged. You're expressing yourself doesn't mean that all the things you're saying that you're right, but that person understands you and understands where you're coming from and your perspective. So these are the things that I said I was going to share about that, why some people might not understand what she's saying, that as in the marriage is fine, but why did you leave? That's a big issue, and it's common. People divorce when they're older. You need to assess your marriage. You're not assessing your marriage to run away, but you need to assess your marriage at different points to know what's going on. The purpose of assessment is to know, okay, where are we doing well, where are we not doing well, so that we can amend our ways. We sit down, talk, and say, okay, this is where we're not doing well here. This is where I feel you're not getting me, or I don't like what you're doing here. What you do, this is the way it impacts me, and all those things, so that you can. Everybody's aware of what's going on. Sorry for this nonsense thing. So that you can know what's going on, and you can work on that and try to correct anything that needs to correct. But if you just pretend and leave it, nobody wants to talk about it, or you people, or you don't want to acknowledge how your partner is feeling, the person will start to resent you and begin to withdraw from you. And by the time you know what's happening, they don't even want to talk about it again. All they are thinking now is escape plan. And when it gets to where they are strong enough, or they have the courage, and that's it, the marriage is gone. And by that time, it's too late to get the person back. So in marriage, you have to be able to listen to your partner, acknowledge their feelings. It's very, very important. Acknowledge, even if you don't understand and you think they're crazy, acknowledge it. So someone can be in a marriage and still be lonely. It's very, very possible. Lonely in the sense that this person does not really understand you. This person is not really in tune with you emotionally. You can be in a marriage with someone and are just together, like basically like flatmates or housemates, and there's nothing really deeper going on, and it can affect intimacy in marriage. So I do understand. I'm not in her marriage. I don't know what. But based on what she said, yes, it's possible that you can be married to someone that is good and kind and everything, but the marriage will not work out because of that lack of presence. There should be presence. You should understand your partner to an extent emotionally. You should be present in your marriage. It's not just physically. And also there's a mentality that the man, as long as the man gives you money, pays for school fees and all those, provides, what do you want? Marriage is it's not just about that. It's more than that. As I said, it's companionship. Then the second thing that she did say, that the breakup or separation or divorce was amicable. And I know that it's strange for our people. And that's where the Western world, they are far better than us. Yes, it's possible to have an amicable divorce. I've seen it. It's very important that I know it's not easy, especially where you have children. It is so important that if you need to separate from your husband, your partner, or whatever, that you do it amicably, not for your own good too, but more importantly for your children. You're adults, but when you have children, you have to. A messy divorce affects children a lot. Divorce alone affects children, talk less of when it's not messy. And that's where Tonto Dike's testimony, why it's so important. And I thank God for her own case. I could just imagine what that little boy is going through, not seeing was going through, not seeing the father for those years. People don't know the impact of that on a child's life. When you take away one of the parents, whether it's a father or the mother, and stop them from seeing their parents, any of their parents, it does impact children greatly. Children are supposed to have relationship with both their father and their mother, and I think we have to learn that in this part of the country, this part of the world, or in Nigeria. We think Africa is the same thing. In the West, you see people that are divorced, but if they don't tell you, you might not even know. They will show up. I've seen it. My son's classmate, there are people that are separated from their partners or divorced. They show up for things for their children, and they stay together, and they're fine. They do that for their children. So don't. I think we allow then that's that thing of self-centeredness. When you're thinking about just yourself, and you don't think about the impact on your children, you begin to indirectly, they are being punished. And most times what people have to also bear in mind, that I did see that somewhere, I think it was a research, that children actually feel that when their parents divorce or separate, they blame themselves too. So that we have to be very careful when we are separating from our partners, that we try as much as we can to. It's hard. I've never been in that situation, so I cannot say that it's easy. But put your children first. The welfare of your children should be paramount. I'm not saying that if the person was abusive towards your children, you still allow them see your children. No. What I'm saying, if there's no case of abuse towards the children, and the children's lives is not under threat, allow them see your children, even if it's been supervised visits. So when Blessing CEO came out, I know that there was video I worked, some people were mocking and all those things. I don't know, I'm not in her heart, but I understand what she's saying. It's because she's in that position, it does affect children. I know some of you don't like her. I'm not here about whether you like her or don't like her, whether she was faking or she's not faking. But she's in that situation, and I do believe, because I'm not in that situation, Tonto Dike's testimony, I did feel, I felt it. So someone in that position, is it likely that she's been touched to think about what she's doing? Yes, I do believe her. So we have to, if you're in that position, start thinking about it, especially in this part of the world, especially men. Because most times what you see is that the man takes the child from, or the children from the mom. Children should not grow without their mom. There's a role that the father plays. There's a role the mother plays. So that's what I have to say today. All right. So thank you guys so very much for listening to me. Hope you've learned one or two things. Please subscribe to my channel if you've not subscribed. Like and share my videos, and also click on the notification bell so that you get notified anytime I upload a new video. Thank you guys so much. Bye.